Let's talk agent etiquette. Especially the trainings we've already seen as new agents or younger agents is geared towards talking to your clients. It's very rarely talked about how you speak with the other professionals, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should say, what you shouldn't say. I want to take a minute to address some of that. Guys, the vast majority of the trainings out there are geared at how to speak with your clients. And very, very rarely do you see a training or any tips or tricks or how-tos or do's or don'ts on how to speak with other industry professionals. Where do you draw the line? When do you light a fire into somebody? How do you light a fire under somebody, right? How do you get people to do things they need to do? How do you hold them accountable? When they're wrong, what do you do? How do you communicate with other folks in the industry? So I want to go through and take a few minutes today and talk about the do's and don'ts, what we should and shouldn't do when we're communicating with other industry professionals. Now guys, who are these folks, right? These are your other agents you're doing cross sales with or doing showings for, right? These are your lenders. These are your title company reps. These are your inspectors. How should we communicate with them? How should we definitely not communicate with them? Now guys, why is this important? How often does your buyer or seller, your client, move? NAR says somewhere between 7 and 9 years. So you may work with this client once every 7 to 9 years. How often do you close at that title company? How often are you going to see this other agent around or work with somebody from their company? How often are you going to use this lender again or run across this lender? And how many of those folks talk and communicate with each other and say, hey, I really love working with that agent, or ooh, stay away from that agent. Guys, they talk the same way about you as the agent. What do you do to build that great reputation as an agent? And what can you do that'll just kill your reputation? The most important one here, guys, I shouldn't have to say it. I feel like this is a little bit regressing having to reiterate this one. But the most important one, guys, if you ever lose this one or make this mistake, it's very, very, very hard to ever get this back, guys. And that's being honest and trustworthy. So if you ever lie to somebody, guys, they'll know. They'll find out. Don't do it. Be honest. Now, I'm not saying you have to tell them everything that they're asking, right? If there's some confidential information between you and your clients, I'm not saying share and spill your guts and tell them everything in the entire world. It's always okay to say, hey, I'm sorry, I can't share that with you. Or hey, I'm not allowed to share that with you. I'm not saying open up the book of secrets and tell them everything they need that you and your buyer or seller have talked about. What I am saying here is don't lie, don't mislead them, be honest. That's number one, the most important one. And always come with those, be honest with that best intention. Number two, guys, is keep your emotions in check. How many of our clients are emotional? If I'm a seller, I'm mad my home isn't selling. Or I'm mad the buyer's inspection, right, came back and they told me I had a leaky doorknob. They told me I had a leaky faucet. Faucet's not leaky, it's great. Or maybe they came in with a lower price than I thought and that insulted me. As real estate agents, we're typically empathetic, right? And we feel their emotions so we can connect on a deeper level. And it's really hard when they're upset or angry. A lot of times we feel upset or angry too, and it bleeds through. And our job as a professional is to provide that buffer from the emotion back to professional. Remember, you're the voice of reason in the transaction. So when the seller or your client is upset about something, right? Ask them, hey, are we buying or selling this house? Or are we entering a marriage or a partnership with these people? So the people's short term, the house or property is long term. If nothing has changed on the house about the deal, nothing changed on the deal, we're just mad at the other party, guys, we just need to let that go and keep on that steady keel. Now, how many times have maybe another agent hasn't done their job well, or maybe they missed a deadline, or the lender was behind on something, or title company got busy and they got some stuff back to you really late. It can be really tempting to get on them and yell at them and say, hey, don't get that, right? You didn't do a good job on this, and you're wrong, and you're wrong, and you're wrong. Is our goal to reach that finish line together, get to that closing table, or is our goal to be right and make people feel bad for when they messed up? Let's remember, our natural reaction is to want to be right and tell when they messed up, and yet I would imagine you would much rather get paid than tell them that you were right and they messed up and the deal busts. Let's remember what our real goal here is to reach that finish line, and yelling at somebody and telling them how they messed up is not gonna get you anywhere. So be courteous. Now, how do we do it? What techniques can we use to communicate that we need to pick up the pace a little bit and yet not be offensive? One of my favorite things to do is ask somebody, hey, what can I do to help you speed this along? Here's an example. Maybe I've got a lender who is really struggling to hit a closing date because they're still missing some documents from the borrower or the buyer. So we'll call the lender and say, hey, Mr. Lender, what can we do to help you make sure we close on time? And he's gonna say, the buyers have been dragging their feet with documents. Can you call them and help me help me get them to meet me the documents? That's awesome, right? So you make a couple phone calls to your buyer, and all of a sudden they got the documents in. Now you're not mad at the loan officer for missing the closing date. You've actually helped, and we all got there faster. Sometimes, as an example, that's outside of your control. You can't do anything about it. And so you may call the loan officer or the title rep or whoever you're calling here and say, hey, what can I do to help you get this done faster or expedite this process? And they're gonna say, there's really nothing you can do. I just need to go back and double down and get it done. I'll get it done for you as fast as possible. So which one of those two scenarios do you think is gonna get you to that finish line faster? You telling them they're wrong, this is wrong, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to hurry up, you need to go faster, they're waiting on you, the sellers have all their stuff in a van, and if you don't do it right now, they're gonna be so mad. Or, hey, what can I do to help you expedite this process? Yeah, guys, I guarantee it's the one where you're asking and offering to help. When you're in a transaction with other people, you're all on the same team. So it's our job not to insert our own emotions in the middle of this, keep our emotions out and keep everybody moving forward. Swallow that pride, roll up your sleeves, and offer to help.